Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let's get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Let us recite our verses from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam for the first module. Out of 10 modules, this is module 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadasya yatonvayaditarata Sharteshvabhidnyaswarat Tene Brahmaridaya Ādi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsurayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavam Atra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Śrīmad Bhāgavate Mahamuni Krite Kim va Parairishvaraha Sadyoridyavarudhatetra Kritibhihi Shushrushubistatkshanat निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अहैतुक्य प्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस्तत्त्वं यज्ञानमद्वयं ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते अतः पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम् एतेषां सकला पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयं इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमभदवत्यपि नामानन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोह भयापहा आत्मारामाश्च मुनयो निर्ग्रन्था उरुक्रमे कुर्वन्ति अहैतुकीं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः त्वयि मेऽनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहता दद्धा गङ्गेवौघमुदन्वति हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining. We'll continue our study of Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are studying the first canto, chapter 9, entitled The Passing Away of Sri Bhismadev. And today we will begin with verse number 23. Again, this is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.9.23. Sri Bhismadev is speaking these beautiful verses to Maharaj Yudhishthir. Bhaktya mano yasmin vachayan kirtayan tyajan kalevaram yogi muchyate kama karma bhihi. Please remember, my dear friends, Sri Bhismadev is on a bed of arrows, Sharashaya, and with so much bodily pain Sri Bhismadev is experiencing right now. So much pain he's experiencing, excruciating pain. And yet he's speaking these kind words. Sri Bhismadev is remembering the mercy of Sri Krishna, who is also present before him. And he's saying, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, who appears in the mind of the devotee. Aveshya Manah. Krishna appears in the mind of the devotee. How? By attentive devotion and meditation. And also Nama Kirtayan. Very important. Nama Kirtayan. Krishna appears in our mind through the process of chanting Harinam. And Muchyate Kama Karma Bhi. What does Krishna do? Krishna releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities. When Tejan Kalevaram Yogi. When the Bhakti Yogi is quitting the material body. At the time of death, Krishna comes in the mind of the devotee who chants the name of Krishna, who is devoted to Krishna, and who meditates upon Krishna. That's why, my dear friends, we should practice meditation on Krishna. Every day for at least 2 hours, we are all chanting. That's part of our initiation vow, that is part of our sadhana. How many of us actually try to remember Krishna? Or do we just take our japamala and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just get the rounds done. Is that the attitude, or we are actually practicing smaranam? That is a question we have to ask. This active smaranam is essential, my dear friends. That's why we hear Hari Katha. So that what we hear, the qualities of Krishna, when we are sitting and doing mantra meditation, we are doing our japa, wo spurti honi chahiye. That whatever we have heard about Krishna, it should manifest when we are sitting and doing mantra meditation. Whatever we have heard in classes, whatever we have read in Srila Prabhupada's books, in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, those pastimes, those activities of Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should come into our remembrance. Sri Bhismadev is saying that only for such devotees Krishna appears to them at the time of death. Bhaktya mano yasmin. Avesha mano. Krishna will enter in our mind. And for those devotees, Vachayan Nama Kirtayan, who with their mouths have glorified Krishna, Krishna Kirtan, and specifically Nam Kirtan, is clearly said, Vachayan Nama Kirtayan. Tejan Kalevaram Yogi, at the time of death of such a devotee, Mucchate Kama Karma Bhi. Krishna will deliver us. So this is very important, that Krishna appears to us if we are devoted to Krishna, if we meditate upon Krishna, and if we chant the holy names of Krishna. So directly there is glorification of Krishna Nam and Krishna Smaranam. Very important. Purport by our most beloved founder Acharya, Om Vishnupad Paramhams Parivrajaka Shtottar Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON BBT founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Purport. Yoga means concentration of the mind detached from all other subject matter. The 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is entitled The Process of Yoga, Dhyan Yoga. And it concludes with Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantara atmana. So yoga means concentrating the mind on Krishna, giving up everything else. Man mana. You have to think of Krishna. And actually, such concentration is called samadhi. What is samadhi? Srila Prabhupada defines samadhi. Samadhi means 100% engagement in the service of Krishna. So samadhi doesn't mean necessarily we have to close our eyes and sit. Was Shukdev Goswami in samadhi when he was speaking? Was Shukdev Goswami in samadhi when he was speaking to Parishit Maharaj? Yes, he was in samadhi, complete samadhi. Was Parishit Maharaj in samadhi when he was listening to Hari Katha from Shukdev? Yes, he was in samadhi. Was Raghav Pandit in samadhi when he was cooking for Mahaprabhu? Complete samadhi. Exclusive. So samadhi means we have to be completely absorbed in whatever we are doing. Srila Haridas Thakur used to be in samadhi while chanting 3 lakh names. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada defines samadhi means 100% engagement in the service of Krishna. And one who concentrates his attention in the matter of service to Krishna is a yogi. Who is yogi? A yogi is one who concentrates his attention on serving Krishna. Because we are putting our attention in so many things in this material world, isn't it? When we put our concentration in serving Krishna, that is a person is called yogi. Such a yogi devotee of Lord Krishna engages himself 24 hours a day in the service of Krishna, so that his whole attention is engrossed with the thoughts of Krishna in 9-fold devotional service, namely hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, becoming a voluntary servant, carrying out the orders, and establishing a friendly relationship or offering all that one may possess in the service of Krishna. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. This is the Navavida Bhakti. Through this 9 processes of bhakti, through these 9 processes of bhakti, Srila Prabhupada is saying 24 hours a day, we should keep our mind absorbed in Krishna. Please raise your hand one by one and tell, Srila Prabhupada has given us the morning program. My question is, how in the typical daily morning program that Srila Prabhupada has given, all these 9 limbs of bhakti are carried out? Please raise your hand and tell about one process. Come on. Okay. Mukta Sangha Prabhu, then Amrit Karan Prabhu, then Ramsham Prabhu, then Kirta Sundari Mataji, then Shama Vallavi Mataji, then Sundari Gopi Mataji, then Rishi Prabhu, then Shamchandra Prabhu. If that is 9. So please carry on.
So early morning there's a discussion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So we hear about
Shravana. Okay, Shravana. Now let me give everybody the ability to unmute, but make sure you mute yourself after you finish speaking, okay? So that there is no disturbance. Okay, now keep going. Amrit Karan Prabhu. Shravanam ho gaya.
Kirtanam. We are
How?
Mangalarti, then Darshanarti Kirtan.
Very good, very good.
Guru Puja.
Chanting, yes.
Chanting.
Sankirtan. Very good, very good. Okay.
Then
Ramsham Prabhu.
Vishnu
Shravanam,
Smaranam.
Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam.
So while doing the chanting, we can meditate on Lord Vishnu. So that is the Smarana.
Very nice, very nice. Smaranam, yes. Then Kirtita Sundari Mataji. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam.
Pada Sevanam is when we circumambulate Tulsi Maharani or we circumambulate the temple, do pradakshina.
Super excellent. Super excellent. Very good. Very good. Okay. Next. Shama Vallavi Mataji. 4 ho gaye.
Archanam, we are worshipping the Lord.
See?
With flowers.
Deity worship. Yes. 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 But Aarti, Bhagwan ka Shringar, everything. Abhishek. All that whole process of Archana Paddhati, the Archana process, deity worship is Archana. Very good. Shama Vallavi. Excellent. Then Sundari Gopi Mataji. 5 are done.
Prabhuji, Dasyam. Vandanam. Okay. We offer prayers to the Lord. Is Vandanam? Or
give one example.
When we at least in my chanting, I'm praying to Krishna that help me focus. For
Prabhupada's morning program. There is
just
Vandanam.
Prabhupada's morning program, Vandanam. The singing itself is a prayer to Prabhupada, to the deities and all.
Excellent. What is, when we do Guru Aarti, Guru Puja, after Japa, after Shringar Darshan, when we do Guru Puja, what is that prayer called? That Srila Narottam Thakur has written?
Guru Vandana.
Vandanam. Guru Vandana. Tulsi Aarti is Tulsi Vandana. Guru Ashtakam, Samsara Dava is Guru Vandana. So all these Ashtakams, Guru Ashtakam, Prabhupada taught us to chant Shiksha Ashtakam prayers. उसमें भगवान के नाम की महिमा है, वंदना है. There is Vandanam, glorification of Krishna, glorification of Nam Sankirtan, glorification of the holy name of Krishna. See, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan is glorification of Sankirtan. Namnamakari Bahuta Nija Sarva Shakti. It is glorification of the holy name. Tatrarpita Niyamita Smarane Na Kala. एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवान ममापि. भगवान की महिमा है, भगवान का वंदनम है. You see, तुलसी आरती, नरसिंह आरती is नमस्ते नरसिंहाय. It is glorification of Nrsimhadev, glorification of Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. You see, so vandanam is covered. So 5 are done. So very good, Sundari Gopi Mataji. Excellent. After that we have Rishi Prabhu. Dasyam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we offer our obeisances to the Lordship. Dasyam, we become Dasyam.
Beautiful. Prabhupada has taught after every Aarti, we are offering obeisances. As soon as the darshan opens, we are going down. Who does that? Das. So the Dasatva is there. Very good, Rishi Prabhu. Dasyam is in offering obeisances. Okay, Shamchandra Prabhu. Sakhyam.
So Sakhyam, Hare Krishna Prabhu. So Sakhyam, Prabhupada has mentioned in one of the purports that your Guru is your most closest friend. So if you are able to serve your Guru in the Sakhya Bhav, that will be excellent. So would that be considered a Sakhya Bhav? Can we do that?
Yes, Vishrambhyana Gurur Seva. With intimacy, we serve Gurudev. So anything we do in the service of Gurudev, that is Sakhyam. Also, what does a Sakha do? What does a friend do? A friend glorifies the friend, correct?
Yes.
Enemy criticizes the enemy, but friend glorifies. So, what do we do in Bhagavatam class every morning in Prabhupada's morning program? We are simply, yes, we are simply narrating the pastimes of Krishna, and we're so that is a sakha, a true friend always remembers the friend wherever he goes and talks about the friend. So, so that is also just by discussing the glories of Krishna, by glorifying Krishna through Bhagavatam, hearing Krishna stories in Bhagavatam, we are expressing our friendliness towards Krishna. So very good, Shamchandra Prabhu. Sakhyam. Then what is next? Atmanivedanam.
Since there are no hands raised, I can.
Yes, I think Ajay Govindu has raised.
Yes.
So, Hare Krishna, I am not at that level, but there are many stalwart devotees who have even dedicated their life. They are full-time in temple, serving day and out. So, even all, Maharajas who are doing endless services have dedicated their complete life and, using everything for the service of Krishna.
Yes, very nice. Atmanivedanam also, when we offer Dandavat Pranam, that is also Atmanivedanam, that we are offering everything to Krishna. Karmana, Manasa, Vacha. We are saying Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam and Vacha. And in our mind also, we are thinking of putting ourselves in front of Krishna, and with the body also. Karmana, Manasa, Vacha, we are doing with our body, mind and words, we are offering obeisances to Krishna, offering ourselves to Krishna. That is Atmanivedanam. And so Dasyam, we can say, what does a Das do? A Das serves. So during the morning program, we bathe the Lord, we do Shringar, and then we also offer Bhoga. So offering Bhoga to Krishna is a servant's job. We are Krishna's waiter.
Cooking also, for the deities as well.
Cooking also, yes. So cooking for making garlands, these are all Dasatva, symptoms of Dasatva. So Rishi Prabhu said, okay, so it's not duplication. It's not duplication. Dasya is all those activities that we are doing. Getting water for Krishna, offering Bhoga to Krishna, making garlands for Krishna. That is all massaging Krishna. That is all Das. Shaligram Shilavi massage. So that is all Dasatva. So just see, my dear friends, the super brilliance of Srila Prabhupada and the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Morning program takes 3 to 4 hours. And in those 3 to 4 hours, Srila Prabhupada has, without we even realizing, has given such a powerful morning program to all of us that we can perform all the 9 limbs of bhakti at the beginning of the day before we go to work. Think about it. All 9 limbs are there. And if the morning begins like this, every single day, 7 days a week, slowly, we become Krishna conscious all the time. All our friends are Krishna conscious, devotee friends. They keep calling, they keep messaging. We are always bombarded. We come home, family members are devotees. So in this way, a devotee all the time is Krishna conscious by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Further down in the purport, Srila Prabhupada ji writes, by chanting Krishna's holy name before quitting the body, the yogi at once is transferred by the internal potency of Krishna to one of the eternal planets where there is no question of material life. This is an important siddhanta we should remember. What happens to a devotee who chants the holy name at the time of death? Goes to the spiritual planet. Clearly, Srila Prabhupada is writing here. In material existence, a living being has to endure the material conditions of threefold miseries, life after life. Can somebody quickly raise your hand and in one go enumerate the 3 types of sufferings that we all endure birth after birth here? Someone who has not answered? Yes, Ajinkya Prabhu, go ahead. Name and what it means.
So, Prabhuji, there are 3 types of sufferings: Ādi Daivik, Adhyatmik, and Ādi Bhautik suffering. So, Ādi Daivik sufferings are those sufferings which caused by natural calamities like floods and other natural calamities. Then there are Ādi Bhautik sufferings caused by living entities around us, and there are Ādi Daivik, Ādi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik suffering caused by our own body.
Correct. Very good. Excellent. So these 3 types of sufferings, they befall all of us without exception, birth after birth. So material life is produced by material desires only. Now here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning a very important siddhanta. I'm going to read the previous sentence again. Please listen carefully. In material existence, a living being has to endure the material conditions of threefold miseries, life after life. How? According to his fruitive work. Please underline this line. Why do we suffer in this world? According to our fruitive work. Fruitive work means according to our karma, we suffer in this world. Is that clear? So, such material life is produced by material desires only. So why do we perpetually live in this material world? Because we have material desires. So raise your hand. What is the solution to get out of this world? We are in this world because of material desires, Prabhupada is saying. So how do we get out of this world? Shama Kishori Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, by developing spiritual desires.
Yes, yes. Very good. By developing spiritual desire, because material desires keep us in this world. Srila Prabhupada is writing. Devotional service to Lord Krishna does not kill the natural desires of the living being, but they are applied in the right cause of devotional service. This qualifies us. This desire, spiritual desire, qualifies us to be transferred to the spiritual sky. Clearly, Srila Prabhupada has written. So, bhakti does not mean to negate desires. Don't stop desiring, become dead stone. No, that is not bhakti. Krishna consciousness means lot of desires. But what desires? Spiritual desires. Mora ei abhilash, vilas kunja diyavas. So we have desires, but they are spiritual desires. Spiritual desires. Whereas material life means to have material desires. In the Brooklyn temple, just around the time of Rath Yatra, in the 1970s, a very wonderful incident took place. Where Srila Prabhupada teaches us how a pure devotee does not have material desires. Does not have material desires. Bhakti Sundar Swami Maharaj, Shri Bhakti Sundar Swami Maharaj was narrating this pastime, that there was a devotee called Sudama Das, Prabhupada disciple, and he was good at arranging dramas. So for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada at the time of Rath Yatra in the Brooklyn temple, few days before Rath Yatra, Srila Prabhupada was there, and he wanted to perform a drama for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. So he created a drama. He played the role of Kali Yuga. He became Kali personified, and he had 6 devotees who became servants of Kali Yuga. Any guesses who these 6 devotees are? 6 personalities are who are servants of Kali? Raise your hand. Yes, Amrit Gaurangi Mataji.
The 6 anarthas.
Prabhu. Yes. What are they?
Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya.
Excellent. Lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, false ego, also called as illusion. So Kali was played by Sudama Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, and he had 6 devotees playing the role of 6 servants of Kali, the 6 anarthas. And lust, the role of lust was given to one German Mataji. Her name was Rasadmya Mataji. And Mataji, Krishna had blessed her with a lot of physical beauty. She was very beautiful. And she was wearing nice sari, with very nice, she was dressed up very nicely because she was personifying the anartha called lust, like that. And then one person was playing the role of a Kali Yuga resident. And then how these 6 anarthas, they torment, how Kali completely captures a jiva in Kali Yuga, they were showing like that. And the drama was going on. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting in the front row. And at the feet of Srila Prabhupada, all his sannyasi disciples were sitting with their sannyas dandas. And behind Prabhupada, all the brahmacharis were sitting. And behind that, all the grahasthas were sitting. And everybody was watching the drama. So when this Rasadna Mataji came, who is lust personified, she was dressed very, very, for the drama, she had dressed very, she was good looking, and she had dressed very beautifully. So as soon as she came on the stage with all the lights and all focused on her, naturally the sannyasis, their heads went down. They didn't want to look. So they were looking down. The brahmacharis also were kind of fiddling, looking at their bead bags and looking down. And somebody before the drama had gifted Prabhupada a rose. Actually, in one of the pastimes, I was listening, Srila Prabhupada memories. Once a devotee offered Srila Prabhupada a rose, and Prabhupada liked it very much in Hawaii. Prabhupada liked it very much. And Prabhupada said, you can offer me a rose every day. So if at home, so we have a deity of Srila Prabhupada at home, and I try to make sure that I offer a rose every day to Srila Prabhupada. So today actually, in our garden, only one rose came. And I was thinking, who should I offer the rose to? We have so many deities. And I thought I will offer it to Radharani. So I washed the rose, washed the Tulsi Manjaris, Tulsi, everything, and I was doing puja. And then in the end, when the time came to offer the rose, somehow I felt inspired to offer it to Srila Prabhupada, because I remembered this pastime. So I offered it to Srila Prabhupada and I felt very happy. So Prabhupada feels very happy when you offer Srila Prabhupada a rose. So that day, a devotee had offered Srila Prabhupada a rose. So Srila Prabhupada is sitting there in the front row, holding a rose in his hand. And Srila Prabhupada is smelling the fragrance of the rose. And he's watching the drama. And Rasakna Mataji is there on the stage. Prabhupada is smelling the rose and looking at her. And then Prabhupada is looking at all the sannyasi disciples and smiling. And again looking there. He's smelling and all the sannyasis are very uncomfortable. They're looking down. So anyway, the drama continued. And then suddenly on the stage, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. A devotee is playing the role of Mahaprabhu. And he is with his Parshas. Nityananda Prabhu is there. Haridas Thakur is there. Shrivas Pandit. All of them come and they do Harinam Sankirtan. And all these Kali Chelas, the 6 anarthas, they get scared. They get frightened. They try to close their ears. We don't want to hear Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But the Mahaprabhu's Nam Sankirtan movement completely defeats Kali and the 6 Chelas. And they all run away in fear. That was a drama. And everybody was, clapping and everything. So drama was over. Then Srila Prabhupada's room was on the 11th floor of that building in Brooklyn at that time. And Srila Prabhupada was going up. As he was entering the room, all the sannyasis and brahmacharis, they followed Prabhupada to Prabhupada's room. As Srila Prabhupada was entering, Prabhupada stopped. Because he knew all the sannyasis and brahmacharis, they were thinking why Prabhupada was watching so intently. So Prabhupada stopped. And he looked at them. And understanding their heart, Prabhupada said, you should try to understand the heart of a devotee. Srila Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said that when a devotee sees someone or something beautiful, a devotee appreciates the beauty. Because it is a vibhuti of Krishna. It is a manifestation of Krishna's greatness, that beauty. It's a spark of Krishna's splendor. So devotee appreciates, but the thought to enjoy that beauty will never come in the heart of a devotee. A devotee appreciates as Krishna's creation. Wow, kya leela hai Bhagwan ki. Very nice. Krishna has created beautiful mountains or a beautiful girl or a handsome man or very tasty fruit. So wherever a devotee sees Krishna's beauty, the devotee appreciates, but does not have a desire to enjoy that beauty personally. You see, we're talking about material desires. So pure devotee has no material desires, but at the same time, a pure devotee doesn't artificially deny the vibhuti of Krishna, the opulence of Krishna, which is being manifested through different creations. But a pure devotee, Prabhupada said, appreciates the beauty, but doesn't have any desire to enjoy for himself. So that's the point I wanted to make, that desires cannot be killed, but we should make sure that we don't have material desires. We should have desire to appreciate Krishna's opulences, different opulences as they come. Somebody is acting very nicely, somebody is singing very nicely kirtan, someone is very artistically stitching clothes for the deities. All these are vibhutis of Krishna. Krishna is giving all those talents and ability. Paurusham Nrishu. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that I am the ability in man. So like that. So very nice lesson Srila Prabhupada is saying, that we should, in the advanced stages, we can appreciate Krishna's beauty without having the desire to enjoy that beauty for ourselves. In a material world, when a materialistic person sees any beauty, they are attracted because they have lust. They want to enjoy that beauty for themselves. That is a disease. That is Hridrog. But Srila Prabhupada is teaching us that we pray that someday, following in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, we also develop this purity of the heart, where we can openly, without any hesitation, appreciate all Krishna's splendor, beauty, opulences, vibhuti, without the thought ever crossing our mind that I want to enjoy for myself. Text 24. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam. This is a very beautiful verse, my dear friends. Please listen carefully. Text 24. Bhismadev is offering this prayers to Krishna. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham Prasannaha Sarunalochano Lasan Mukhambujo dhyana pathas chaturbhujaha. Shri Bhismadev is praying, may my Lord Krishna, who is four-handed, may my Lord Krishna, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face and eyes as red as the rising sun is smiling, kindly await me at the moment when I quit this material body. Means, may Krishna, who has a very beautiful lotus face, Mukham Bhujo, lotus face, and Prasanna Hasa Aruno Lochano Lasan. He has got Aruna Lochan. His eyes are like Aruna. Aruna is the orangish, reddish color of the sun when the sun is just at the horizon. That color, Arun. Aruna Lochan, Mukhambuja, lotus face, Prasanna Hasa. He has always a cheerful, smiling face. May my dear Krishna, who is so beautiful, beautiful eyes, beautiful face, be there for me at the time of my death. Very beautiful verse. Huh? So I will read this verse, read the translation, and then we'll jump into the purport again. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam. Pratikshatam. Bhagwan meri pratiksha kare. Main aa raha hu. I am coming. Oh Lord, please be there for me. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaramaya Vadidam Hinomaham Prasanna Hasa Runalochanollasan Mukhambujo Dhyana Pathas Chaturbhujaha. May my dear Krishna, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face with eyes as red as the rising sun is smiling, kindly await me at that moment when I quit this material body. Who knows the last verse of Sachi Sutashtakam by Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? Quickly raise your hand. Around Gaur Purnima time we sing it every day. Okay, Rishi Prabhu, go ahead.
Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram.
Last verse, 8th verse. It's Ashtakam, Shachi Sutashtakam. Someone can also copy paste, no problem. We are talking about Arun, the color Arun. That's why. Okay. Anybody knows? Okay, Ramsham Prabhu has posted, so everybody take a look. Arunam Nayanam Charanam Vasanam Vadane Skhalitam Swakanamadharam Kurute Surasam Jagata Jivanam Pranamami Shachi Suta Gauravaram. Thank you, dear Ajay Govind Prabhu and Ramsham Prabhu for sharing. So Arunam, here Shri Bhismadev is addressing Krishna as Aruna Lochana, whose eyes are reddish like the rising sun. And in this particular verse, Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is a Gaura Premijan, who loves Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he has written that three things are Aruna Varna. Three things have the Aruna color. What are they? Nayanam. Mahaprabhu's eyes are also Arunam. See, same. Here Aruna Lochana, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu is Aruna Nayanam. Okay? Arunam Nayanam. But there are two more things that are Arun. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is saying. What are they? Charanam. The soles of the feet of Mahaprabhu, they are also reddish, Arunam. The soles of the feet of Mahaprabhu, Charanam Arunam. And Vasanam Arunam, being a sannyasi, his dress is also Arun color, like the rising sun. Saffron. Haribol! So three things are Arun in color. Arunam Nayanam Charanam Vasanam Vadane Skhalitam Swakanamadharam Kurute Surasam Jagata Jivanam Pranamami Shachi Suta Gauravaram. Vadane Skhalitam Swakanamadharam. From his lotus mouth, he's chanting his own names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here Bhismadev is praying to Krishna that may Krishna be there for me at the time of my death. Look at the very, very heart-touching purport of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ji writes, Shri Bhismadev knew well that Lord Krishna is the original Narayan. His worshipable deity was four-handed Narayan. So Bhismadev is in the Vaikuntha Bhava. Hare Krishna. So his worshipable, that's why he is seeing Krishna as Chaturbhuj. Because his meditation is Lord Narayan. He knows Krishna is the original Narayan, but he likes to see Krishna in the four-handed form. Prabhupada ji writes, but he knew that four-handed Narayan is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. Indirectly, Bhismadev desired Lord Shri Krishna to manifest himself in his four-handed feature of Narayan. Now, please see, my dear friends, the purport, Srila Prabhupada's beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada ji writes, a Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior. You like this sentence? Srila Prabhupada writes, look at Bhismadev. He is a Mahajan. He has done so much service for Krishna. And he's saying, oh Krishna, will you be there at the time of my death? We have so much thasak. We are chanting 16 rounds, going back to Godhead in this lifetime. Vichare Bhismadev. Look at Bhismadev. He is such a great Mahajan, such a pure devotee, never forgot Krishna for a moment. And he's saying, Krishna, I pray that you are there for me when I quit my body. Such humility. Srila Prabhupada says, a Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior. Although it was 100% certain that Shri Bhismadev was approaching Vaikuntha Dham just after leaving his material body, still, as a humble Vaishnava, he desired to see the beautiful face of Lord Krishna. For after quitting the present body, he might not be in a position to see Lord Krishna anymore. Bhismadev doesn't know for sure that he is going back to Godhead. He has doubt. He says, I may not go. After that, I may go to hell. I don't know which species I will get. So at least Krishna, now please come before me. Thoda samne aao. Aap Pandava ke piche chupe ho. Thoda samne aao. Darshan do. Darshan do. Please. This is the prayer of a devotee. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Shri Chaitanya Kimme Nayana Saranim Yasyati Punaha. Prayer of a devotee. Raghunath Goswami is praying. Shachi Sunu Kimme Nayana Saranim Yasyati Punaha. Oh, when will Shachi Sunu, Shachinandan Gaurahari again come in the pathway of my eyes? Just Jagannatha Swami Nayana Pathagam Bhavatu. When will I see you, Lord? Gopis also. In the first verse of Gopi Gita, they are saying, Jayati te adhikam janmana vrajaha shrayata indira shashwadatrahi daita drishyata dikshutavaka tvai drishasavas tvam vichinavate. We are so eager to see you, Krishna. Where are you? Where are you? Iti gopya pragayantya pralapantyasya chitradha rurudu suswaram rajan Krishna darshana lalasa. This devotee always has this great desire, utkantha, to see Krishna. Krishna darshan, Krishna darshan. And what is the key to getting darshan of Krishna? To not want to see Krishna. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ne kya kaha hai? Raise your hand. When will Krishna give darshan? Yes, Sundari Gopi Mataji. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, we should serve in such a way that Krishna will want to see us.
Tasam avirbu shaurya. Aisa rona hai. Rurudu suswaram rajan. We have to cry. We have to serve Krishna so nicely that Krishna is pleased to come and give darshan. We cannot capture Krishna. Kalyavan was running after Krishna. Could not catch. We cannot catch Krishna. When Krishna is pleased. So we have to please Krishna. And Bhismadev had pleased Krishna abundantly. But the point here is, Srila Prabhupada is saying, a Vaishnava is always humble. And then Prabhupada, if someone missed that point in the purport, see what Srila Prabhupada is writing. Who can say the next sentence? Read. Prabhupada repeats it in another way. First Prabhupada says, a Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior. And now what is Prabhupada saying? Raise your hand. Who? Yes, Ladini Gopika Mataji.
Further down, Prabhu, Prabhupada says, still as a humble Vaishnava, he desired to see the beautiful face of the Lord.
And then see the next sentence. Again, Prabhupada says the same thing. A Vaishnava, next sentence.
Is not puffed up. Okay, is not puffed up.
So Prabhupada is saying, a Vaishnava is always humble in his behavior. And then Prabhupada is saying, a Vaishnava is not puffed up. How much Prabhupada is emphasizing the importance of not being puffed up, not being proud, being humble. Srila Prabhupada is saying, a Vaishnava is not puffed up. My dear friends, in this regard, such a wonderful pastime of Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Prabhupada, comes to the heart. This pastime is very, very dear to my heart. It's amazing, it's inconceivable. Srila Prabhupada is such an acharya. Srila Prabhupada was in Mayapur. And Srila Prabhupada was sitting in his room in Mayapur, and he was, nobody was there, only one American disciple of Srila Prabhupada was there. His name is Mahabudhi Prabhu. Many of you might have heard his name, Mahabudhi Prabhu. So Prabhupada is sitting, doing his work, and Mahabudhi Prabhu is the servant, so he's just sitting there in case Prabhupada needs something. And Prabhupada's sister, who knows the name? Quickly raise your hand, unmute and answer.
Pishima.
Pishima. So Pishima comes in the room. Okay? Prabhupada is sitting, Mahabudhi Prabhu is there, his servant, he's just chanting his japa, and Pishima comes, she wants to talk about something to Prabhupada, something she has to talk. So she comes, and in Bengali she starts speaking to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada is also talking to her in Bengali. Both are having a conversation in Bengali. Now she's Prabhupada's sister. They're talking in Bengali, and Mahabudhi Prabhu is thinking, maybe I should not be here, they want to talk something, maybe I should step out. So Mahabudhi Prabhu begins to get up to leave, and Prabhupada says, stop, where are you going? Sit down, stay here. So Mahabudhi Prabhu said, okay, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada continues to speak for next 20-25 minutes. Prabhupada and Pishima are speaking in Bengali. Mahabudhi Prabhu is not understanding a word. So they discussed, and then Pishima left. Then Prabhupada told Mahabudhi Prabhu, why were you leaving the room when my sister came? You should not leave. I am a sannyasi. I should not be alone with any woman. Not even my mother, not my sister, not my daughter, nobody. As a sannyasi, I should not be alone with any woman. And then Prabhupada quoted this verse, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 9.19.17. Prabhupada quoted this verse to Mahabudhi Prabhu. Matra swasra duhitrava navivakta sano bhave balavan indriya gramo vidvamsam api karshati. Someone can share. Ramsham Prabhu, please share kijiye. We had discussed this verse once. The Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 9.19.17. Very, very powerful, important verse. Srila Vyasadeva is writing, Matra swasra duhitrava na vivakta sano bhavet. Asan means a seat. Don't sit close to Matra, your mother, Swasra, your own sister, and Duhitra, your own daughter. Even mother, sister, daughter. Na viviktasano. Don't sit close to them. Why? Because Balavan Indriya Gramo. The senses are crazily strong. Senses are very powerful. Balavan Indriya Gramo and Vidvamsam, jo Vidvan hai, very learned people also, api karshati. They can agitate, they can get attracted to a woman. So you can stop the screen share. Prabhupada quoted this verse to Mahabudhi Prabhu and said, I am a sannyasi. You should not leave me alone, even with my sister. Can you imagine the acharya-ness of Srila Prabhupada? This is the height. Prabhupada. Maya cannot even come close to Prabhupada because Prabhupada is always with Krishna. Jaha Krishna taha nahi Maya radhikar. And Prabhupada as an acharya to teach us is teaching us such a subtle point. There is no need for Prabhupada to follow these strict rules. Prabhupada is 80 years old and he's a pure devotee and he's a Nitya Siddha. And Pishima also is a very exalted devotee, Vaishnavi. And they are old and they are sister and brother. And Prabhupada is saying, don't leave me alone with Pishima. I am a sannyasi. Shukla vastra machi bindu yaichena lukha hai. Sannyasi ra alpa chidra sarva loka hai. Prabhupada is such an acharya. Perfect acharya. And he quotes this verse as if it applies to Prabhupada. This verse. Look at this is humility. Prabhupada was not puffed up. Mujhe kya? These things don't apply. This is for lower devotees. I am Uttama Adhikari. Such a humble position Prabhupada took. Now see, Srila Prabhupada writes very nice Siddhanta towards the end of the purport. A pure devotee is never very anxious to go to the kingdom of God. See? Don't try to see God, but serve Krishna in such a way that Krishna is pleased to see you. A devotee is not very anxious to go to Vaikuntha. He entirely depends on the goodwill of Krishna. बस कृष्ण आपके जैसा आपको ठीक लगे जोई जोई प्यारो करे सोई मोह भावे whatever Krishna you want, that is my will also. Let thy will be done, as Jesus Christ prayed. Whatever you want, Krishna. मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तो हर नित्य दास प्रति तुआ अधिकार. Śrīla Bhakti Thakur. This is Sharanagati. I don't have any agenda of my own. Whatever you want, Krishna. A devotee is like an empty slate. Krishna, you can write a puppet. Make me dance. You want me to do Kathak, Bharatnatyam, whatever you want, Krishna, you do. Whatever you want. I can do the Swami step for you. I can jump up and down for you. I can sit and do japa. Whatever you want. I can distribute books. Whatever you want. I am your puppet. A devotee entirely depends on the goodwill of Krishna. He is equally satisfied even if Krishna desires him to go to hell. Hare Krishna. Let's process this. Going to Golok Vrindavan is one thing. Srila Prabhupada is saying a devotee is equally satisfied. Equally satisfied even if the Lord desires him to go to hell. Please raise your hand if you can quote the verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam where this Siddhanta is spoken by Lord Shiva. That yes, a devotee is like this. Shankar Bhagwan quotes this beautiful, speaks a very beautiful verse with the same Siddhanta. Yes, Kirtita Sundari Madhavi, go ahead.
I don't remember the words, but I know in the pastime of Vritrasura, before Chitraketu, Shankar Bhagwan says, Narkasya Swargasya apitulyart, like something, I don't remember the words.
Swarga apivarga narkasya.
Narkasya.
Swarga apavarga. Apavarga means mukti, Swarga means heaven, and Narka means hell. Swarga apavarga narkeshu api tulyartha darshanam.
Yeah, api tulyartha.
So Narayan Parayan hote hai, the devotees who are completely dedicated to Lord Narayan. Somebody can share this verse, please. For them, heaven, hell, liberation, api tulyartha darshanam. They are all same, comparable to each other. No difference. See, Srila Prabhupada is saying, equally satisfied even if Krishna desires to go to... Imagine, my dear friends, if Krishna tells us, go to hell. Will we feel the same satisfaction as you will feel when Krishna will say, come to Golok Vrindavan? That is the standard, my dear friends. That is what Mahaprabhu is teaching us. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamay, mama janmani janmanishware, bhavatat bhakti rahetu kitu. That is the meaning of Ashlishava Padaratam Pinashtumam Adarshanan Marma Hatam Karotuva Yatha Tathava Vidhatu Lampato Mat Prananathastu Saeva Napara. That is the meaning that take the dust from my feet and put it on Krishna's head. If it is going to relieve him for one moment of his headache. And for that, I am willing to go to hell for eternity. That is the meaning of Vasudatta saying, give me the sins of all the people, all the jivas. I am willing to suffer eternally in hell, but let everyone go to Vaikuntha. You see, this is such, bhakti is so selfless. There is really nothing, other processes cannot even, it is an offense to compare them to bhakti. Think about karma kand, think about dhyana kand. They want mukti for themselves. What about the world? You see how much selfishness is there? Karma kand, they want to enjoy with their senses by doing different yajnas. These processes, they cannot even be, they should not even be compared to bhakti. It's an offense. The only desire that a pure devotee entertains is that he may always be in rapt attention with thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord regardless. Which means does not want viraha from the Lord. Na nakaprishtham, na chaparyameshtham, na sarvabhaumam, na rasadhipatyam, na yoga siddhir apunarbhavam va samanjasatva viraha na kangshe. Viraha nahi chahiye. A devotee doesn't want separation from Krishna. Wherever I am in hell, I am in heaven. What I want is, I should always be able to think of you, Krishna. Shri Bhismadev wanted this much only, that Krishna was darshan do. This only. That his mind be absorbed in thinking of Krishna and that he pass away in that consciousness, thinking of Krishna. Ante Narayana Smriti. Yes. Antakale chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram. That is the highest ambition of a pure devotee. That may I always be engaged in your service, Krishna. Text 25. Okay, this is the last verse, okay? Shri Suta Uvacha Yudhishthirastad Akarnya Shayanam Sharapanjare Aprichat Vividhan Dharman Rishinam Chanushrunvatam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Shri Suta Goswami said, Maharaj Yudhishthir, after hearing Bhismadev speak in that appealing tone, asking him in the presence of all the great rishis, asked him in the presence of all the great rishis about the essential principles of various religious duties. Shara Panjare, look at the verse. Shara, second line, Shara Panjare. Bhismadev is lying on bed of arrows. Shara Panjare Shayanam. He is lying down on a bed of arrows, and what is he doing? Apricchad. Apricchad means he asked. Apricchad Vividhan Dharman. He asked about the different dharmas for a human being. In front of all the rishis, he asked. So purport. So Bhismadev said all these things. He offered his prayers to Krishna, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj asked him about different dharmas. Purport. Shri Bhismadev, speaking in that appealing tone, convinced Maharaj Yudhishthira. So the way Bhismadev spoke the preceding few verses, that this is because of Kal, it is not your fault, and like that, after speaking all this Siddhanta, hearing these appealing words of Shri Bhismadev, Maharaj Yudhishthira was completely convinced. Remember, Yudhishthira Maharaj was brought there by Lord Krishna because he was feeling very guilty and he was feeling overwhelmed with sorrow. But after hearing Bhismadev, someone who is lying on a bed of arrows is speaking such sweet words, such sweet philosophy. Yudhishthira Maharaj was completely pacified, convinced Maharaj Yudhishthira. Also, Maharaj Yudhishthira became convinced that now Bhismadev is going to leave his body. Krishna has come, that's all he wanted. He wanted to see Krishna at the time of his death. Krishna has come. Now Bhismadev is going to, Pitamaha is going to leave his body. So therefore, I will never get a chance to inquire from my grandfather again. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is posing questions about dharma, different types of dharmas. Lord Shri Krishna inspired Maharaj Yudhishthira to ask Shri Bhismadev in the presence of many great rishis. Rishinam Chanu Shranvatam. In front of many sages, indicating thereby that Lord's, now please listen carefully. What is Krishna indicating? Indicating thereby that Krishna's devotee, like Shri Bhismadev, although apparently living in as a worldly man, he's living in a palace, living as a worldly man, Bhismadev is far superior to many great sages, even Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna. Krishna is Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is direct incarnation of Krishna. He is not a Shaktavesh. This Vyasadeva, Shri Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, the son of Parashar Muni and Satyavati, is Sakshat Bhagavan. There are Vyasas who are Shaktavesh also in certain Manvantars. But our Krishna Dvaipayana is Sakshat Bhagavan. Even greater than Vyasadeva. More man Prabhu Asa Vishwasa, Ramate Adhik Ramakar Dasa. Greater than even Vyasdev. Why? Because even Vyasdev and Krishna himself could not convince Maharaj Yudhishthira, but Bhismadev did it in just few verses. Another point Srila Prabhupada says, Shri Bhismadev at that time was not only lying on a deathbed of arrows, Shara Panjare, but Bhismadev was also greatly aggrieved because of that state. Last time a question was asked, is Bhismadev feeling pain? Here the answer is given. Yes, very much aggrieved. He was feeling a lot of pain. One should not have asked Bhismadev any question at that time because he's in so much pain. Why are you asking questions about Dharma? Please give him a break. He's having 10 on 10 pain. But Lord Shri Krishna wanted to prove. Krishna is trying to make a point using Bhismadev as an example. Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always in sound body and mind by dint of spiritual enlightenment. Hari Bol. We saw that in the example of Srila Prabhupada. You have seen those videos? November 1977, Srila Prabhupada in Krishna Balram Mandir. So frail, reduced practically to skin and bones, lying on a bed with His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj, that time Brahmachari, holding a dictaphone in front of Srila Prabhupada's lotus mouth. And what is Srila Prabhupada doing? Dictating the Bhakti Vedanta purport, translating. On his, excuse me for the term, but for lack of better term, on his deathbed, on Srila Prabhupada's deathbed, he is translating Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. How much concentration, attention, alertness it is required to translate, and that translation is going to be there forever in the books. Translation, word to word meaning, and dictating purports. 13th chapter of the 10th canto, Srila Prabhupada, the last chapter Prabhupada did. 13th chapter, if I remember correctly. Brahma Vimohan Leela, 10th canto. Prabhupada was giving beautiful purports. Same as Bhismadev. Bhismadev was on a deathbed. He was greatly aggrieved. No one should have asked him any question, but Lord Krishna wanted to prove that his pure devotees are always in sound body and mind by dint of their spiritual enlightenment. Devotee is always Krishna conscious. Father likes to see the son, down below. Father likes to see the son become more famous than himself. Krishna is the father and the pure devotee is the son. Lord Krishna declares very emphatically that worship of his devotee is more valuable than the worship of Lord himself. Raise your hand if you can quote this verse, this line, and from where it is. Reference. Count it till 3. 1, 2. Yes, Ramsham Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhu, I know that one. Prasangam rampasam atmanaha kabayo vidu sayava sadhu sukrito moksha dwara apavritam.
Translate.
So the material attachment to this material attachment, what we have to this nature, if that apply to the pure devotee, that opens the door of liberation.
No, but correct. This verse is nice, but my question was something else. My question was, here Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj is saying that Lord Krishna declares very emphatically that worship of his devotee is more valuable than his worship. Ye kidhar? Vamshivadan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyam Samarchanam.
Vamshivadan Prabhu. Krishna is saying, I am saying. Who spoke this verse?
This was Lord Shiva to Mother Parvati.
So the Lord declares very emphatically. Krishna is declaring.
Sadhavo Hridayam Mayam Sadhunam Hridayam Tom.
Nice verse, but that is not. Worship of my devotee is more valuable than my worship.
Okay.
If I'm correct,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. ये में भक्त नामे भक्त जना ये मद भक्ता नाम जो
very good, very good.
Aham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshuva yatra gayanti mat bhakta tatra tishtami narada.
Vamshivadan Prabhu, is that you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Who was that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vamshivadan Prabhu. You have to gift me a book now.
Sure, Prabhuji, anything for you.
No, that is not the verse. You are saying, Krishna is saying that I am in the place where my devotees are chanting Harinam. My question is, Krishna is saying that worship of my devotee is more important than my worship. Where Krishna says like this? Shama Vallavi Mataji?
I don't know where he is telling Prabhuji. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika.
Ah, yes. Very good.
11th canto.
11th canto, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja. So many times we quote this. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. Worship of my devotee is more important than my worship. And also, Yeme Bhakta Jana Partha, Name Bhaktasya Te Jana, Mad Bhaktanam Chay Bhaktas Teme Bhaktottam. This is also similar Siddhanta, but not worship. Here Prabhupada is clearly saying, the Lord declares very emphatically that worship of his devotee is more valuable than the worship of Lord. That is the verse. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. Okay? Then Bhagavad Prabhu, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he tells a very nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada. Once a Mataji wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada, in our temple there is a controversy. Some devotees are saying that as a pure devotee, as a Jagat Guru, you know everything that is in the heart of every devotee. You know, Prabhupada, you know everything that is in the heart of every disciple. And then there are some devotees here, they are saying that no, that is not true. Because if Prabhupada knew everything, then why Prabhupada will ask, so how are you doing? How is the, how many of you are chanting 16 rounds regularly? If Prabhupada knows everything, then why he will ask like that? So some devotees are saying, Prabhupada, you don't know. Some devotees are saying, Prabhupada knows everything. So this very innocent Mataji, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, she wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's secretary read this letter aloud to Prabhupada. So the secretary said, Prabhupada, so what should I reply to her? There is a controversy in this particular temple. Different senior devotees are having difference of opinion. So Srila Prabhupada said, yes, you can reply that for a very advanced pure devotee, this is not at all difficult. For a very advanced pure devotee, very advanced pure devotee can know everything that is there in the heart of the disciples. It's not such a big thing, not such a difficult thing. So then the secretary smiled, he got the answer. He said, okay, Prabhupada, so I will write that, yes, you know everything in the hearts of all your disciples. Prabhupada said, no, I did not say that. I said for a very advanced pure devotee, it is easily possible. But I did not say that I am a pure devotee. He said, I am not a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, even I am not even a devotee. I am trying to be a devotee. Prabhupada said like that. So, although Krishna wants to show that his devotee is greater than him, Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika, but what is the attitude of a devotee? A devotee does not accept that. That yes, worship me, worship me. My worship is more important than Krishna's worship. No, a devotee never thinks like that. A devotee thinks like Prabhupada, I am not even a devotee. I am not even a devotee. Very, very beautiful Siddhanta here Krishna is establishing. And we will continue from verse number 26 next time. This is a very beautiful section of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. The whole Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is very wonderful. But certain sections, dear devotees, we will go fast. So don't be disheartened that the pace is very slow. These purports are so deep that I don't feel like rushing through them. So we are discussing and drinking the nectar of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports. Grantharaj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. We'll meet tomorrow. This week we will not meet on Thursday, but we'll meet tomorrow instead because Janmashtami. So see you all tomorrow, same time. And if there are any questions, we can quickly go through them. Let me look at the chat first. So Narayana Parasarve Na Kutascha Vibhyati. Have no fear. Swarga Pavarga Narkesh Apitulyartha Darshana. Narayana Parasarve. Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. Yes, that is the verse. Okay, so no questions in the chat box. Are there any questions, you can. Ramsham Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, Prabhu. So yeah, I had read earlier. So.
Oh, acha, you had raised early. No problem. Divya Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I have got
I'm
a
just
feedback that my answers are very boring and very long. I keep going on and on and on. So I have been told to keep my answers short and crisp. So I'm going to try that today. Yes, Divya Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today's session was about Bhismadev, that he is in pain and he is able to remember Krishna. I just wanted to share like a personal experience. I got COVID and my symptoms are really mild, but I still was not able to chant with little bit of discomfort in the body. So I'm just wondering, we speak about time of death when you are in excruciating pain and you used to be able to take the name of Krishna. And me with just little bit of pain, I was not able to do that. So my first question is that how do we do that? And the second, you mentioned about a person, something about friends are the ones who glorify and enemies criticize. So should we apply that to material world also? That people who criticize us very bitterly, that they are friends who criticize us are our friends or enemies?
Okay, let me answer my memory is very bad. So let me answer the second question first because it is fresh now in my memory. We have to be cautious of those who are bitter towards us, who have bitter feelings towards us and who criticize us. Externally, we have to be cautious of them. We have to be careful so that they don't harm us. But internally, they are doing a great service to us, and therefore we should feel gratitude to them, those who are criticizing us. What service they are doing? They are making us humble, they are making us aware of our shortcomings, and they are taking away the pride that we have accumulated. So that's a very good service they are doing to us. Once a very big industrialist, he came for one of the lectures of my revered spiritual master, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And he was a big dignitary, and Maharaj was giving a Prerna lecture, which is typically designed for youth, the age of 15 and 30 years. So Maharaj was giving a lecture and he came, he attended part of the lecture and then he got up and left. And his reason was that he did not like the lecture. Something that Maharaj said, Maharaj was making a point that Maharaj was making a point from Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajan, based on Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajan, that how a materialist is like a worm in the stool. Mahaprabhu says this in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes it in one of his bhajans. And Maharaj was just making that point. And he did not like it because he was a materialist. So he felt that he was being criticized. He got up and left. And later on, Maharaj was informed that that dignitary left because he felt offended. So Maharaj became very happy that he left and that he did not like Maharaj's lecture. And when the brahmachari was quite bewildered to see Maharaj's reaction, Maharaj said that whenever I give lecture, so many people come and tell me, Maharaj, very nice lecture, Maharaj. Very inspiring talk, thank you. Everybody glorifies me. But I'm very happy that today I have been criticized because it gives me an opportunity to understand actually who I am. Actually, I am so fallen. I could not even inspire this one nice gentleman who had come. So it's a very humbling experience for me, and I'm happy that I have been humbled. I will try to work on myself and I will try to improve myself, Maharaj said. And then Maharaj said, can you give me the phone number of that dignitary? And the brahmachari gave the phone number. And Maharaj called him up and apologized to him for disappointing him. And Maharaj said that please don't take it personally. I was trying to make a siddhantic point that one who is engaged in material sense gratification is wasting the human form of life, because human form of life is meant to understand transcendence. So please forgive me, I offended you. And Maharaj apologized. And then the conversation ended. Next day, that dignitary came back to Radha Gopinath Mandir to take darshan of Maharaj. But Maharaj had left. Maharaj had gone to America, came back to America. Because next day was Maharaj's flight and Maharaj had already left. So this dignitary came, but he could not meet Maharaj. And then he was burning in separation from Maharaj. So when will Maharaj come back to Bombay? Please tell me next time Maharaj visits. And he was waiting for months. And then when Maharaj came, next time he came. And then he became a disciple also later on. The point I'm trying to make is, when people criticize us, we should take it as that they're instruments who are humbling us. And therefore, we should appreciate, in our heart, we should appreciate and be grateful to them. Now, if someone is quite vicious and bitter towards us, externally we have to take precaution so that they don't abuse us. That precaution should be there. But I'm saying internally, spiritually, we should take it as a blessing that they're criticizing, because it's for our purification. When someone praises us, hearing that appreciation and praise, our punya is gone. Because punya ke bal se stuti prapt hoti hai. On the basis of our previous pious credits accumulated, we get people to praise us. But when someone criticizes us, our paap gets cut. When we are criticized, हमारा जो पाप का burden है, पाप कर्म है, वो कम होता है. तो if our debt is being reduced, debt is being forgiven, should we be sad or should we be happy? We should be happy. So when we are criticized, हमारा पाप कम होता है, तो खुश होना चाहिए. we should be anandit. We should feel happy. That is the second question. First question, भूल गया. Please याद दिला माताजी फिर से. Remind me again. Forgot.
Yeah.
Just
My question was about like Bhismadev, how he was able to remember Krishna when he was in excruciating pain.
Yes. So
And
how
for
what
us,
we
even
should
for a
do?
little bit pain also, we can't.
Yeah. COVID, you gave example of your experience with COVID. Yes. So there was a brahmachari. I may be wrong, but I think he is our revered Krishnananda Prabhu, a very senior brahmachari from Radha Gopinath Mandir. He had gone for some yatra. I think it was Jagannath Puri. And they were taking snan in the samudra. They were taking bath in the ocean. And at that time, he was not a swimmer. He didn't know how to swim. And somehow the waves came and he got sucked into the ocean. And he didn't know swimming, so he was drowning. He was drowning. And fortunately, some of the devotees, they knew swimming, they jumped in and they pulled him out just in time as he was about to drown. So he had a near-death experience almost. So he was remembering that when I was going under, I had swallowed water and I could not breathe. So I was just thinking how I'm going to save myself and how I can breathe. My whole focus was on saving myself. And I was so afraid of death, so afraid of the water. And I was in such distress. I had swallowed salty water. And there was no question of remembering Krishna. There was no question of remembering Krishna or even chanting Hare Krishna. I could not speak. I had swallowed water. I was like that. I was dying, just struggling to breathe, completely focused on my body, how I can save myself. He said, if I would have died, there is no way I could have remembered Krishna at the time of death. So it was a big disillusionment for him, this near-death experience. And he decided that how can I remember Krishna at the time of death? What should I do? And he came to the conclusion that I must intensify my bhajan. And from that day, he started chanting 64 rounds every day. And even today in ISKCON, he is a big proponent of 64 rounds. He himself does it. And Achara Prachara Namer Karah Duhi Karya. He does both Achara and Prachara of the holy name. So he himself chants more than 64 rounds. And he's preaching also, encouraging. And so many devotees have taken to 64 rounds because of him. Very senior brahmachari. His Grace Krishnananda Prabhu. Very, very great example of good Nam Bhajan and Nam Nishtha. So I'm not 100% sure about this story that it was him. The story definitely happened with a brahmachari near I have read it in one Vyas Puja offering. I think it is Krishnananda Prabhu only. Maybe I'm wrong, but one of the brahmacharis. But the point I'm trying to make is that you had this experience with COVID and you could not chant at that time. You're saying very humbly. So my response is that how do we remember Krishna at the time of death? The only way is by intensifying our bhajan. So if that experience with COVID has in a way disillusioned you, that, oh, it's so difficult to remember Krishna when there is bodily discomfort. So let me intensify my bhajan. Only by intensifying one's bhajan can one pass the final exam. If in the test exam, in the prep exam, we get a low score, what is the solution? Intensify your studies, prepare more. So similarly, if the COVID has given a scare to you that I could not remember Krishna, I could not could not do my bhajan. So what is the solution? Now we have to become serious and we have to intensify our bhajan so that at the time of death we are able to remember Krishna. There is no other way. We have to simply go deeper in the practice of Krishna consciousness. Is that okay, Divya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Okay, so now Sharmishta Mataji and then Radhanam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such a wonderful nectarian class. Before I ask my question, Prabhuji, I want to request you कि आप ना short में answer मत दीजिए. आप long answer से हमें बहुत helpful होता है because एक question से हमें 5 questions का answer मिल जाता है. So please keep it long. I just love it personally. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. And my question is regarding that Saranagati prayer we are praying every day. And that verse is Sadanga Saranagati hoibe jaha sahara prarthana kare Shri Nanda Kumar. So that means Prabhuji कि वो 6 अंग होने से ही कृष्ण हमारा प्रेयर सुनेंगे. तो अभी तो हम वो 6 अंग को फॉलो नहीं करते, हमें शरणागति नहीं हुआ है. तो कृष्ण फिर हमारा प्रेयर जो अभी हम करते हैं तो नहीं सुनेंगे क्या? तो फिर हम क्यों प्रे करते हैं?
इसीलिए हम आचार्यों के प्रेयर्स दोहराते हैं. That's why we repeat the prayers of Krishna. Will not listen to our prayers, but Krishna will listen to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Guru Ashtakam. Krishna will listen to Krishna Das's Tulsi Arti. Krishna will listen to Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Gaur Arti. Krishna will listen to Narottam Thakur's Guru Vandana. Krishna will listen to Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami's Radhika Ashtakam. Krishna will listen to Rupa Goswami's Yamuna Ashtakam. Krishna will listen to Srinivas Acharya's Shad Goswami Ashtakam. So Krishna will listen to Mahaprabhu's Shiksha Ashtakam. So Krishna may not listen to our prayers, but we are repeating the prayers of the Acharyas, which will invoke the full mercy of Radha and Krishna, because they love these Acharyas. Is that okay, Sharmishta Mataji? But we should try to include Sharanagati.
If we are in trouble and we are praying, so अभी तो फिर कृष्ण नहीं सुनेंगे ना.
So if we are in trouble, like the trouble of Vritrasur, when he was struck by Indra's thunderbolt, and for 1 year Indra was slowly slicing his neck. उससे बड़ा तो trouble नहीं है. Nobody is cutting our neck slowly over 1 month, 1 year period. धीरे. Vritrasur 1 year he was tormented. 1 साल तक इंद्रदेव गर्दन काट रहे थे उनकी. उतनी बड़ी तो तकलीफ नहीं है हमें. But when we are going through taklif, when we are going through difficulties and reversals and problems, we can chant Vritrasur's prayers. We can chant Gajendra's prayers. We can chant Draupadi Devi's prayers. Govinda Dwarka Vasi, Krishna Gopi Janapriya, Kauravair Paribhutanma, Kim na Janasi Keshava. We can chant the prayers of the Acharyas. We can chant Uttara's prayers, Krishna Krishna Mahabhav, like that. So like that we should chant the prayers of Acharyas who chanted their prayers in distress. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Radhanam Prabhu, last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji,
you are on mute again. Yes.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji, now?
Now we can hear you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, you mentioned that that we should give up our material desires and focus on the spiritual desires. So, as devotees, when we have material desires, or like for example, when we want to get some laptop, we get the laptop, we get instant.
Prabhuji, आपका आवाज फिर से एकदम soft हो गया है. Radhanam Prabhu. It's I'm not able to hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it is good. Yes, please continue.
Yes, I was saying, like, when we fulfill our material desires, then we get instant gratification as neophyte devotees. So then we tend to have more and more material desires, because when they get fulfilled, then we get gratification. So how do we convert from the material desires and get to the platform of spiritual desires as the neophyte devotees?
By associating with high-class devotees who have spiritual taste. Because in their association, we will get spiritual gratification. And then we will realize that, yeah, the spiritual gratification is much better than all the material gratification that I was getting. Param Drisvani Vatade. We get the higher taste in the association of high-class devotees. So the solution is to associate with high-class devotees. Then the premananda that they are experiencing, that makes us realize ki, yaar, what I was running after, I was thinking this is fantastic. This is nothing. This is a much higher taste that I'm getting. After paying money also, the happiness that we cannot get in the material life, that we are getting for free in Krishna consciousness. In the satsang, in the kirtan, in the association of devotees, nice Krishna Prasad. That is so much better an experience compared to paying $20 for a movie ticket and buying $10-15 worth of popcorn and soda. What is that? Sitting in a dark room in illusion and watching some images on the screen which have nothing to do with reality, which simply take us away from our paramartha, from the real goal of human life. So the answer is, we should associate with sadhus, with high-class devotees who have spiritual taste. In their association, aisi chatak lagegi, we will get such a higher taste that all these material enjoyment that you are getting, it will become tuchha. Tyaktva turnamashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhavat. The 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were mandalpatis, they were very rich, but they gave up all the wealth as if it was tuchha. It was abominable. They never looked back. Never. They had so much wealth. They had so many comforts and luxuries. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami had the most beautiful wife. He had the most loving father and mother. He had the most doting uncle. He had the most dedicated servants. He had the most beautiful mansion. He had every facility at his disposal. Tuchhavat. Considering it insignificant, he gave it all up for a life in Jagannath Puri where he was eating the rice that was rejected even by the animals. Hare Krishna. Why? Because he was getting such a higher taste with Swarup Damodar Goswami and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What anand, what bliss he was experiencing in Krishna consciousness, that this material enjoyment was insignificant. So, answer is to associate with high-class devotees and go deeper in Krishna consciousness. When Krishna showers his blessings on us, when we get Krishna's mercy, then we develop vairagya. Initially, we may have to do some tyag, but then the tyag will become vairagya. What is the difference? Tyag means we know that, oh, this material enjoyment is fantastic here. Going for a nice cruise, they are giving no onion, garlic, vegetarian food also. It's so much fun, such a comfortable, luxurious cruise is there. But yeah, Udar, I don't have devotee association. I will just get used to sense gratification. It's not good. Theek, I will not go. Instead, I will go to sadhu sangha. This is called tyag. We have a taste for that type of enjoyment, material enjoyment, but we know it is not good. It is not bhakti anukul. It is not favorable for bhakti, so we give it up. That is called tyag. But vairagya means tyaktva turnam ashesha mandalapati shrenim sada tuchhavat. To not have any attraction for material, to know that it is tuchha, it is abominable, and completely absorbed in the higher taste. That is vairagya. That is the path of Mahaprabhu. That's what Mahaprabhu has come to give. Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yoga shiksharthameka purusha purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya shariradhari kripam buddhiryastamaham prapadde. That's how Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya glorified Mahaprabhu. He has come to teach vairagya and bhakti vidya. So vairagya will come, Prabhuji, but that will come when we take shelter of the Gaura Premijan, those devotees who are in love with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Then unka rang chadhega. Their association will rub on us, and we will also become like that. Is that okay, Radhanam Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we'll stop here, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Gaur Premanandi Hari.
Hare
Krishna Prabhu.
One second. Just 1 second. Give me 1 second. So we have Aparna Mataji here. I don't know if she's there today. Maybe she left. But anyway, Aparna Mataji is a very wonderful devotee. So today is her birthday. She is a very sincere devotee, newly introduced to Srila Prabhupada's Krishna consciousness movement, but very, very sincere. So let's pray for her, 3 times chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. All of us together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Request is to keep answers long, Prabhu, so that we can keep your answers long, as we are expecting, real-time examples, practical examples as you usually give. It helps really in, understanding very clearly.
Prabhuji, my home minister does not appreciate very long answers. She's waiting for me. So I have to give, but I'll try my best. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.